working well. Oh, my!
Look out, Darchinyan!
Half bounds with a record of 17 wins and 1 defeat. He has 10 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the current NABF champion, ranked the number 8 IBF world contender. He is known as the Filipino Flash, introducing Donaire. And his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks, fighting out of Sydney, Australia, by way of Armenia. He weighed in at the flyweight limit of 112 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with 28 wins, no losses, 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight he is making the 7th defense of his title. Here is the undefeated IBF and IBO flyweight champion of the world, known as the Raging Bull, DARCHINYAN.
Hey, Bobo, respect my commands the whole time. Let's touch him up, let's get popping.
Let's get poppin', says Eddie Claudio of Brooklyn. Vic Darchinyan, one of the most unique and unorthodox fighters in the world, has never been dropped or hurt or even remotely threatened in the ring. Almost every punch is meant to end the fight or at least break your spirit. His left, dynamite. But in meeting with Donaire yesterday, he came across as very confident, loose, and incredibly calm. A guy who seemed like he already had the test questions in advance. We'll soon find out, Al.
I like that explanation of him.
Something, unfortunately, I never had.
You know, no, I find it hard to believe. He is a taller fighter with a bigger reach, and those are the things that you always wonder, can a Darchinyan, who's a fighter that comes forward, deal with? Donaire's attacking him much more than I expected right at the beginning.
Darchinyan, not a particularly fast starter in general. It'll be interesting to see if he gets right to it here. He did start unusually fast against Nonito's brother Glenn, who incidentally told the younger Nonito that Darchinyan does not hit hard, and you can see the punches coming. Darchinyan's response, he was toying with Glenn that night. He didn't punch as hard as he usually does. Good left uppercut attempted by Donaire.
Two things have happened. The right hand is landing for Donaire, but the left is landing by Darchinyan. But I think Nonito Donaire has made Vic Darchinyan think about his power already.
And a wild swing and a miss with the left by Darchinyan. The free swinging Darchinyan is being tested right out of the gate here by the younger Nonito Donaire, having a very good start to the fight.
Well, you mentioned it. You know, you said Vic Darchinyan's going through an undefeated career, barely tested. I got to be honest, in the first half of round 1, he's been hit more than we've seen him in all the fights, and he's getting whacked by Donaire.
He just got hit. That was a shove. He just got hit by a left hand by Nonito Donaire. Donaire comes out blazing here midway through the first round.
Now, the danger in all this is Donaire better not get too brave. His mission is to be a boxer-puncher, even though a powerful one.
Now Darchinyan trying to push Donaire back. Donaire has skills, no question. Straight right hand to the chest. He's versatile, he's patient, calm, and lightning fast, and he can handle pressure. He's got a lot of amateur experience.
Well, in the keys to victory, one of the ones was land the right hand. Donaire's done it repeatedly to both the body and the head here in round 1.
And they're really up on his toes, moving to his left, which is the correct thing to do. And another wild swing and a miss there by Darchinyan. And if he's not careful, he's going to be wide open for a straight right by Donaire. Now Donaire goes to the midsection, and that was blocked by Darchinyan. A spin around move there by Donaire.
You know, Vic Darchinyan's probably lost a few rounds along the way in his pro career, but I don't think he's ever lost one the way he's losing this one.
Donaire said he's very cognizant of Darchinyan's uppercut. That straight left can really wear you down. Boy, Donaire kind of fumbled there moments before the bell to end the first round. Doubts the champion Darchinyan of the black trunks. Donaire, a huge underdog, and he feels Darchinyan has built his record on washed-up fighters and guys moving up in weight. But at least tonight, Darchinyan in there with someone who's fought mostly at flyweight and super flyweight. But remember, Darchinyan regularly spars with guys much bigger than him. Darchinyan 28-0 with 22 knockouts.
Now, Darchinyan told us he wanted to use his right hand a lot more in this fight. He's known primarily as a left-handed puncher. So let's see if he tries to throw the right hook and the right uppercut a little more against Donaire.
And the reason for that, because he knows that Donaire is going to be certainly to his left to try to get away from his power, the left hand. So he'll try to surprise him with the right. There it is, right there on cue.
You know what I'm surprised at? And it's a good weapon.
Left hand by Donaire to the head.
He is landing the jab. Donaire's also landing his left hook pretty well. Of course, that's a good weapon against the southpaw. Donaire not known for that punch, and he's had hand problems with his left. Broken in his second fight as a pro, and it's been troubling him sometimes in fights since.
Darchinyan got nailed, and then he came back. Gives him a right hand, a pitch by Donaire with the left hand. And it is really heating up here in round 2.
Nonito Donaire is making this an interesting fight, but boy, he could make it too interesting for himself, because there are times when he is standing in harm's way of those Darchinyan big punches.
Donaire has to be extremely focused against the awkward, jerky moves of Vic Darchinyan.
That was a seminal moment in this fight. A big left hand by Darchinyan, and Donaire counters him with the left hook. This is really turning into an interesting stepped up in weight because Donaire is by trade a 115-pounder. And so we're getting a clue of how things would go for him in the 115-pound division.
Darchinyan missing again with a straight left there.
And Darchinyan's landed some more good straight left hands in this round. He's had a better second round. I don't know if he's winning it, but it's been better.
But he's usually a slow starter. I mean, even fights in which he has been totally combustible later on. Heavy left there is Darchinyan, but Donaire standing his ground, looking tough. Final seconds of round 2. What is developing into an interesting affair. Well, as we mentioned earlier, back in October, young Nonito were faring pretty well as we enter round 3.
And you know, round 2, I have to say, I might have put it in Darchinyan's column because of his good second half of the round. He did come back very well, and not body work by Donaire. Darchinyan's finding the range with the straight left, but the body work by Donaire in this round's been impressive.
You can see the difference in height and reach favoring the young challenger Donaire. Darchinyan certainly has his vulnerabilities, as you can see, looping his punches. As Al pointed out earlier, the defensive lapses, but his unconventional style and his incredible power usually bail him out. And when he straightens out those lefts, the power is compounded like just now. Now Darchinyan going to the right.
That was a counter left a moment ago by Donaire. Every time Victor Darchinyan kind of rushes in, he does get countered by Donaire. And that's an issue for him.
Donaire has more well-rounded skills than Darchinyan. Darchinyan usually just looks for that one punch to end it. He's kind of undisciplined, but it seems to work for him.
You know, Victor Darchinyan changes fighters. When they come in the ring, and he's right. Once they've felt his power for the most part, Steve, they change. They can't use their skills. That hasn't happened yet to Nonito Donaire, but that's a good left hand by Darchinyan.
Times it is difficult to stay outside box move counter against Darchinyan. You have to sort of get in his chest, push it back, make it messy, hook to the body. But that's easier said than done, because if you get inside and you feel his sting, it's very discouraging.
Now, to Donaire's credit, he has fought this whole fight for the most part at long range, used his jab and stayed there. And Vic has managed to get the straight left hand in from time to time, but I know not as much as he would want. So far, he hasn't hurt Donaire with that much.
Donaire been extremely calm and patient here, waiting for his moments.
The other thing Donaire did a moment ago was he feinted Darchinyan, and you saw Darchinyan react.
Big left hand right on the button by Vic Darchinyan. That nailed Donaire. Oh, there's a good left hand that staggered Darchinyan. Remember, he's never been hurt or dropped in his career. Donaire sensing the moment. Darchinyan battles back. Donaire marching forward. Casey has another hard left hand to the chin by Donaire.
Ironic that a left hook has been the big weapon for Donaire. Surprising.
What a huge finish to round 3 for the challenger, Nonito Donaire. A rocky scenario for this man, Darchinyan. This is the first time we've seen Vic Darchinyan in any kind of trouble. It might be the first time he's been in trouble his entire career, and we'll see how he responds in this situation. Now, 4 steps for 12, IBF flyweight title, Darchinyan's belt on the line. Darchinyan's undefeated record at stake as well.
Now, Darchinyan's dad is here to see his fight. Only the second time he's seen his son fight as a pro. He's got to be a little nervous at this point.
Tense moments for Ruben Darchinyan. First trip to the United States.
Owned a gas station in Armenia, and he and Vic have a great relationship. And right now, he's got to be concerned for his son.
A lot of concern in the Darchinyan corner as well, led by trainer Billy Hussein, who's 2-0 with Darchinyan, so he's taking over from former world champion Jeff Fennick.
You know what's interesting about this too? Now, Darchinyan kind of feels urgency to come forward and make things happen, but when he does, Donaire is counterpunching him so effectively. So it's a tricky situation for Vic Darchinyan right now.
Donaire not quite as aggressive as he was towards the end of the 3rd round. Just tasted a straight left hand from Darchinyan.
Darchinyan's able to get that left hand, especially when he uses the jab. I think Vic Darchinyan has not used his jab enough in this fight, Stephen. Were he using it more, it would set up that straight left hand.
You'll notice both eyes red and swollen on Darchinyan right now. Mixing Wally with a straight left is Darchinyan, so the eyes are becoming a factor for Darchinyan. And it's early. How will Vic Darchinyan handle adversity? For the moment, it appears as if Donaire is letting him off the hook. Now, that
the later rounds.